Let me be clear. I wasn't planning on attending my sister's wedding out of spite, revenge, or to make some dramatic entrance. I genuinely wanted to be there. I loved her once. Maybe I still do, somewhere under the pile of wreckage my family left me buried beneath. But when I got the text from Mom, all it said was, "Hey, sweetheart. It's a small wedding. We just don't have space for everyone. Hope you understand." No names. No call. Just a casual rejection, as if skipping your own sister's wedding was something normal. Like missing lunch because of a meeting. My heart sank. But then, a second later, anger started bubbling up. I had questions. Was it budget? Was it my ex? Was it because I called Mom out for the way she treats me like a family errand boy, but turns into Cinderella's fairy godmother for my siblings? I asked. I got nothing back. Radio silence. At first, I tried to reason. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Then I called my sister, Emma. She didn't answer either. Instead, I got a group text from my mom 2 days later. Not to me. About me. Let's not let him ruin Emma's day. He'll make it about himself. Just smile if anyone asks. I stared at that message, blinking, trying to process. I wasn't supposed to see it. It was clearly a misfire sent to a group that accidentally included me. That's when I knew this wasn't about space. This was personal, intentional, targeted. A bit of background might help explain why this hit me so hard. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. Grew up in what looked like a happy family on the outside, holiday photos, family game nights, the works. But behind the scenes, it was always about Emma. Emma the miracle baby. Emma the princess. Emma who never had to clean, pay rent, or lift a finger past raising her wine glass. Meanwhile, I worked 2 jobs through college to avoid debt. Bought my own car at 19. Helped pay bills when Dad got laid off. None of it mattered once Emma wanted something. Especially if it was something I had. Case in point, when I got engaged to my ex-fiancée, Rachel, Emma accidentally got engaged 2 weeks later. She even picked a ring eerily similar to mine. At the time, I thought it was just sibling coincidence. Now I see it was a pattern. My relationship didn't survive. Rachel broke it off 6 months before the wedding. To this day, I wonder how much family pressure played a role. After all, Rachel always said she felt like a guest in my life. My family's version of support was demanding things look right in photos, not offering actual help. When Emma's wedding was announced, I didn't even think twice. I RSVP'd yes immediately. I thought maybe, for once, it wouldn't be a competition. Maybe I could just be the brother. Sit in the pew. Clap during the vows. Toast her happiness. But apparently, I wasn't even good enough for that. I spent the next week in this weird limbo of resentment and guilt. My girlfriend, yes, I'm dating someone new now, Laura, kept asking me what I was going to do. She wanted to go. She'd already bought a dress. I told her she wasn't invited either. And then, 4 days before the wedding, I got tagged in an Instagram story. It was Emma's bachelorette party at a vineyard. There were at least 20 people there, including 2 co-workers I knew she barely spoke to and some old high school friends she hadn't seen in years. So much for just close family. Then came the rehearsal dinner photos, 30-plus people. Then the pre-wedding barbecue, 50-plus. I counted. I'm not making this up. She posted a slow-mo boomerang of the whole group tossing their drinks into the air. One of my cousins messaged me a selfie with the caption, "Wish you were here. So fun." I replied, "Wasn't invited," smiley face. The day of the wedding, I wasn't planning to go. I'd accepted it. Laura and I were halfway through a Stranger Things binge with a pizza on the way. But then, a thought hit me. What if I did go? Not to crash it. Not to cause a scene. Just to see. To see if it really was a small wedding. To see who actually made the cut that I somehow didn't. So I went. Alone. I parked down the street, wore sunglasses, walked around to the side gate of the garden venue like I was staff. And I watched. 147 guests. I counted, including all 7 of my siblings, their spouses, their kids, their college roommates, in-laws I hadn't seen in years. Even our mailman was there with a +1. No, seriously, the guy who delivered our mail growing up was there in a suit, shaking hands with my dad. There was no sign of limited space. My chest got tight. I didn't feel rage. I didn't even feel sadness. I felt numb. But then my phone buzzed. It was a notification from my banking app. A Venmo request. From my mom. $8,500 memo. You're half of the family gift for Emma. Silver platter. Includes engraving. You'll love it. I stared at the number, then at the crowd, then back at the screen. I didn't reply. I didn't send a message. I didn't even leave a comment. I walked back to my car, turned on the engine, and started making phone calls. By the time Emma landed for her honeymoon 9 hours later, I'd made sure it would be a trip to remember. I wasn't supposed to know the honeymoon itinerary. But when your mom sends you an $8,500 Venmo request for a family gift you never agreed to, you get curious and angry and motivated. Turns out, anger is one hell of a research assistant. Let's rewind. After I left the wedding venue, after counting 147 people who somehow fit into a tiny wedding that didn't have room for me, I drove straight home. Laura was waiting with a tub of Ben & Jerry's and a bottle of wine. When I told her what I saw, she put the wine down and said, "All right, what's the play?" She didn't ask if I was going to retaliate. She asked how. That's why I love her. Here's what I knew. Emma and her new husband, Jason, were scheduled to fly to Belize for their honeymoon. I only knew this because my cousin, Chloe, posted about it on her story, geotag Delta Sky Lounge JFK, with a caption that said, "Can't believe the bride and groom are off to Belize." So romantic I screenshotted it. Now, I'm not a petty person, but when you get disinvited from your only sister's wedding under false pretenses and then slapped with an unsolicited invoice for a luxury gift, the petty part of your soul starts flexing. What really lit the fire under me, though, was that engraving. You're half of the family gift. Silver platter. Includes engraving. Turns out the engraving read, "To our radiant bride, from the family who will always put you first." I saw it in a group photo. There it was, big and bold on a silver platter held up like a championship trophy. That was when something in me snapped. I didn't have much to work with, but I remembered a little story from years ago during my engagement to Rachel. At that time, Emma had asked me about honeymoon travel insurance. I'd booked a trip to Spain, and she'd heard I bought cancellation coverage just in case. Apparently, she thought it was brilliant and made a note to do the same for her own future honeymoon. So I made a call to a friend of a friend who worked for a certain travel insurance provider. And after a little digging, I'm just verifying the itinerary for a surprise honeymoon send-off, and some light name dropping, I got confirmation. Someone named Jason W. and Emma S. had a honeymoon insurance policy booked for travel to Belize. Departure, Sunday morning. Hotel, an upscale resort with private villas. Fully refundable, with one condition. Any cancellation had to be approved by the primary account holder or triggered by security, behavior-related travel incidents. Guess what I triggered? With the info I gathered, I booked a business class ticket on their exact flight. Not because I wanted to talk to them, but because I wanted to be there when it happened. See, I knew something they didn't. The resort Emma booked has a very strict guest identification policy. And when I made an anonymous tip to hotel management that one of the incoming guests might be using a fraudulent credit card, complete with a story about stolen honeymoon plans and identity misrepresentation, they flagged the reservation. Not canceled, just frozen. They needed to verify the couple's information at check-in. A simple inconvenience. A bump in the road. But it was enough to ruin the magic. I also left a note on their wedding registry page, informing them that their engraved family gift had been partially paid for by someone specifically excluded from their wedding guest list. Petty? Sure. Deserved? Oh, just wait. Here's where things took a dramatic turn. As I sat in the boarding lounge at JFK, sipping a coffee and minding my business, Emma and Jason strolled in. She was wearing a white sweatsuit with Mrs. W. on the back. He was wearing sunglasses indoors and barking at a flight attendant about overhead bin space. Classy couple. They didn't notice me, but I noticed them. And I also noticed the 2 TSA agents who appeared at the gate about 10 minutes before boarding. Now, to be clear, I didn't call TSA. I didn't report anything criminal, but I may have made a customer service report that flagged Jason's name as someone who'd been aggressively intoxicated at the gate during a previous trip. Delta takes flight disruptions very seriously. So when Jason ordered a Bloody Mary at the bar next to the gate and started flirting with the bartender while Emma scrolled through her phone, it didn't take long for staff to check in. Emma was escorted first, She looked confused. Jason followed, protesting loudly. The flight boarded. I got in line. They did not come back. When I took my seat, there were whispers. A woman behind me asked the flight attendant, "What happened to the bride and groom?" The flight attendant shrugged and said, "They're not flying with us today." That was only phase one. By the time they finally got to Belize, I was already working on the real problem, the $8,500 invoice. Because my mother, sweet, spiteful mastermind that she is, didn't just send that Venmo request out of nowhere. No, she had filed me as the co-contributor for the wedding gift through a shared family fund she started last year, which meant the money had already been paid. Out of my linked account. Unauthorized. I called the bank. I called the fund. I filed a fraud claim. But I didn't stop there. I also sent a detailed email to the rest of my family with the subject line, "You can't exclude someone from a wedding, then bill them for it." I attached screenshots, receipts, and a time-stamped list of everyone who was invited, with arrows pointing to the mailman, the dog groomer, and some random college friend named Sky, who apparently made the cut over me. I didn't demand apologies. I demanded repayment. And I gave them 72 hours before I went nuclear. Let me tell you something about my family. Appearances are everything. You could be bleeding out on the kitchen floor, but if the neighbors are watching, my mother will tell you to smile through it. We never talked about our problems. We performed around them. Until I kicked the curtain down. After I sent the "You can't exclude someone from a wedding then bill them for it" email, complete with screenshots, timelines, and a note demanding reimbursement, my family thread went dead silent for nearly a full day. Not even a "how dare you." Not even a thumbs-up reaction from Aunt Cheryl, who reacts to everything. Then the dam broke. At 6:13 p.m. the next day, my mom called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Her voice was syrupy sweet in the beginning. "Hey, honey, we got your email. Just want to clear up a few misunderstandings." Click. Then a flurry of texts rolled in from the rest of the cast. "Dad, you know your mother didn't mean any harm. Uncle Ray, I told her not to exclude you. She thought it'd be easier. My brother, dude, this is such a bad look. You're making a scene. Emma, I'm so sorry you're hurt. I didn't know Mom didn't invite you until it was too late. Also Emma, 45 seconds later. Also WTF did you do at the airport?" Jason is livid. There it was. She knew. I could practically feel her fury vibrating through the screen. And I hadn't even started the real fire yet. Let's back up. After the honeymoon chaos, Jason posted a not-so-subtle rant on Facebook. Some people are so bitter and jealous they can't stand to see others happy. News flash. Your toxicity is why you weren't invited. Subtle. That post. Screenshot. Archived. Then came the kicker, a second Venmo request. This one from Jason. $237.50 memo. Champagne ruined in airport incident. Pay your part. My hand was shaking from how hard I laughed. They wanted me to pay for the Dom Perignon he dropped during the TSA investigation. I hit decline and wrote back, "Bill the mailman." He got my seat. Now about that $8,500. After I froze the transfer and filed a fraud report, my bank temporarily refunded me while they investigated. I knew the family fund platform had terms that required permission from all listed contributors before major withdrawals. And guess what? I never signed the agreement. Mom used an old shared account we opened years ago when I helped her co-sign a loan for my dad's dental surgery. That account had been dormant for a while, until she quietly used my identity to reopen it as part of her family wedding gifting group. Fraud. At best, unauthorized use of banking credentials. At worst, something that could get her a very scary phone call from the fraud division if she didn't make it right. I gave her an option: pay me back or I escalate. Instead, she doubled down. 2 nights later, Laura and I came home to find a handwritten note stuck in our door. It was from my mother. No envelope, no card, just folded notebook paper that smelled like Chanel No. 5 and passive aggression. "We're sorry things got out of hand, but you need to look at the bigger picture. Emma's wedding was the start of a new chapter. It's not about who wasn't there. It's about celebrating love. We didn't think you'd take it this personally. If you continue with these accusations, we'll have no choice but to consult a lawyer. Please think this through before tearing the family apart." Tearing the family apart? That's rich. I took a photo of the note and forwarded it to my lawyer because, yes, by now I had one. Not a bulldog litigator, just a level-headed friend from college who owed me a favor and was more than happy to explain the potential criminal implications of accessing an account using someone else's identity. And then I sent one final group message. Final notice, $8,500 must be returned within 48 hours. This is not emotional. This is financial. I did not agree to contribute to the wedding gift. I was excluded from a wedding and was never consulted. I will not just let this go. If repayment is not completed within 48 hours, I will file a formal complaint for fraudulent withdrawal. I will also seek reimbursement through small claims court and request that all related family members be subpoenaed as witnesses. I have detailed records, statements, and documentation. You made it clear I'm not family. So let's not pretend when the bills show up. Then I blocked every single one of them. You want to know what happens when a family that cares only about looking perfect suddenly faces real legal exposure? They crack. Loudly. Sloppily. Publicly. Within 24 hours, Aunt Cheryl, yes, reaction happy Cheryl, DM me on Facebook. Your mom's flipping out. She thought you were bluffing. Jason is threatening to sue you now, but has no idea how. Emma's crying every day and says you ruined her marriage before it started. I told them they should have just invited you. Boom. I knew the pressure was working, but I wasn't done, because the best part wasn't the refund I was about to receive. It was what Emma did next and how it exposed everything. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Wednesday night. I'm sitting at home, half watching Better Call Saul, half scrolling through a flood of blocked voicemails. Every name that popped up was familiar. Mom, Jason, even Cousin Chloe. But one name hit me differently. Emma. She didn't leave a voicemail. She texted instead. Just 3 words, please call me. I should have ignored it. I wanted to, but this was my sister. The same one who used to put Band-Aids on my scraped knees when we were kids. The same one who helped me write my college application essay, because she was better with words. The same one who, a month ago, told 147 people I wasn't worth a chair. Curiosity won. I called. She picked up on the first ring. Her voice was shaky, tired, like someone who hadn't slept in days, which, as I'd later find out, was exactly the case. She didn't say hi. She just whispered, I didn't want to leave you out. I swear, I didn't say anything. I let the silence stretch until she filled it. And then the truth came spilling out, jagged, frantic, desperate. According to Emma, it was never her idea to exclude me. She'd assumed I'd be on the guest list. I was even on the seating chart. But 1 week before the wedding, our mom pulled her aside and said, I think it's best if we keep the guest list tight, just people who support your journey. That word again, support. In mom speak, support means obedient. And I hadn't been obedient since I told her no to covering my brother's DUI fine back in February. Emma pushed back. She wanted me there. Mom said it would be a distraction, that I was too unpredictable, that my presence would make the whole day about me. Emma was exhausted, overwhelmed, getting married. Her future in-laws were already causing drama. Jason's mom had accused her of weaponizing her tears after a disagreement about floral arrangements. She just wanted peace. So she caved, and I was cut. No warning, no explanation, just erased. I was stunned, but that wasn't the bombshell. This was, I didn't know Mom took money from you until after the wedding. She found out during their layover in Miami, right after the TSA incident. Jason had finally gotten Wi-Fi and was raging through Venmo notifications when he showed her the payment history. That's when Emma saw the $8,500. Her response? Where the hell did this come from? Jason told her. Your mom said it was a shared gift. From the family. That's when it clicked for her. All those whispers. All those dodged questions. The fact that she'd never actually seen a breakdown of who contributed. She confronted Mom via text. Mom told her not to worry, that everything was handled, and that your brother will understand. Then Emma asked the one question that unraveled everything. Did you ask him? The answer was silence. After the honeymoon disaster, the airline embarrassment, the hotel check-in delays, the customs officer questioning Jason because of a flag travel report, Emma started connecting dots. She came home to chaos. My email to the family had blown everything up. Half the relatives were siding with me. The other half were telling her she should have managed me better. Jason was furious, not just at me, but at her. He blamed her for not keeping her family in line. He started sleeping in the guest room 2 nights after they returned. They weren't even married 2 weeks yet. Then Emma said something that knocked the breath out of me. I know why she did it. I asked what she meant. She hesitated. It's because you bought your condo outright, isn't it? My silence told her she was right. See, Emma had asked me 3 months before the wedding if I was still renting that little place with the plants in the window. I told her casually that I'd bought a condo downtown last year. Paid off. Quiet street. Great sunlight. I didn't make a big deal of it. She said, wow, and moved on. Apparently, Mom did make a big deal of it. According to Emma, our mother freaked. She told Emma that I was flashing money around, that I was trying to shame the family, and that he's going to rub it in everyone's faces at the wedding. She called me unstable, vindictive, a loose cannon. So she cut me out. Not because I was toxic, but because I made her feel small. That's when Emma started crying. Not soft, sad crying. The ugly kind. The deep, guilty, chest-heaving kind. I let her do it. I let her bully me into pretending like you didn't matter. I let her make you invisible. And now, I think my marriage is over and I don't even care. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to tell her that tears don't reverse a betrayal. That I was humiliated, hurt, that no engraved silver platter would ever fix what happened. But instead, I said, then tell the truth. Emma asked what I meant. So I gave her a plan. The next morning, Emma posted a letter to the family Facebook group. Public. Tagged. Not a private message. A post. Here's a snippet of what she wrote. I want to set the record straight about what happened at my wedding and what was done to my brother. He was not excluded because of space. He was excluded because of lies, manipulation, and fear. And I allowed it. I let myself be bullied into cutting out someone who always showed up for me. He didn't ruin my honeymoon. He didn't sabotage my day. My wedding was already broken the moment we decided that appearances mattered more than people. Mom, I love you, but I'm done protecting your story. It exploded. Comments started pouring in. Some family members praised her. Others were livid. But the damage was done. 1 hour later, I got a notification. Bank refund approved. Full reimbursement issued. And underneath that, a Venmo request. From Emma. $8,500 memo. Please accept this from me instead. Not from the family, just from your sister, who finally remembered how to be one. 3 weeks after Emma's post detonated our family group chat, I got a text from my dad. Not a call, not a voice message, just a single line. She wants us to have dinner. One last time. She, of course, being our mother. I stared at the message for a while. It felt less like an invitation and more like a court summons. But curiosity's a hell of a drug. So is closure. I told Laura. She said, you going? I said, hell no. Then I picked out a collared shirt and asked her which time made me look less like I was about to throw wine in someone's face. The dinner was at my parents' house. Sunday evening. Just family. Emma was already there when I arrived. She opened the door before I could knock. No hug, but she smiled. Attirée, tentative smile. She looked lighter. Not happier. Just real. Dad sat at the head of the table like always. Silent. Mom hovered over her roast like it was the Last Supper, and she wanted the turkey to earn forgiveness for her. Jason didn't come. Emma told us he'd moved back in with his mom. I guess not everyone's built for real consequences, she said, pouring herself a glass of wine. Dinner was weird. Fork scraping. Water pouring. Forced past the potatoes, small talk. Like everyone was trying to pretend we were a normal family. I didn't play along. After my second glass of wine, I leaned back and asked, so, are we going to talk about the $8,500 elephant in the room? Or, Mom froze mid-bite. Dad coughed into his napkin. Emma didn't flinch. She said, we're not here to pretend. We're here to end this. Mom finally looked up. Her eyes were glossy, but dry. She wasn't crying. She was calculating. I didn't mean for things to get out of hand, she said. You always make everything about you. There it was. The core wound. I laughed. Right. I made Emma exclude me from her wedding. I made Jason pick a fight with TSA. I made you steal from my account because your pride couldn't handle me having a mortgage. Dad whispered, Can we not do this here? Emma said no. We're doing it now. That's when Mom snapped. She slammed her glass down and hissed. You think you're better than us. That's the problem. You always have. You walk in here with your smug little apartment and your smug little girlfriend and your smug. I cut her off. Mom, I didn't walk in with anything but proof. That you lied. That you manipulated Emma. That you stole from me. And that you used family as a shield to do it. The room went silent. Then Emma reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. Thick. Sealed. She slid it across the table to Mom. Here's the full amount. The real one. For my account. No stolen funds. No family pot. Just me. Paying for the lie I helped spread. Mom didn't touch it. She just stared at it like it was a dead mouse. I don't want your guilt money, she said. Emma replied, Good. It's not for you. It's for him. She turned to me. I already Venmo'd you. This is symbolic. You know, for her. I took the envelope. Not because I needed the money. I'd already been reimbursed. But because I wanted her to see me take it. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do to someone who tried to erase you is let them watch you recover. The rest of dinner was uneventful. Mom didn't apologize. Dad didn't pick a side. Emma and I left together. On the porch, she asked, So, are we good? I didn't say yes. But I didn't say no either. I just pulled her into a hug and whispered, Next time, I'm bringing the champagne. Epilogue. Jason and Emma officially separated 3 months later. No years. Just silence. My mother still hasn't spoken to me. But she did unblock me on Facebook. Baby steps. Emma started therapy. She sent me funny TikToks now and then. I cashed her check. And I bought a new silver platter. The engraving? To the brother they tried to forget. Thanks for remembering yourself.